to the Country Watch Political Intelligence Briefing, Quick Hits, a weekly briefing of hot stories across the world in brief. I'm Denise Youngblood Coleman, and I'm the Editor-in-Chief and Senior International Affairs Analyst at Country Watch. This week, the United States is the featured country. At issue, President Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan, which was passed by both chambers of Congress. Going back to the end of February this year, the House of Representatives voted to approve President Biden's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan aimed at pandemic relief and economic stimulus. The final vote tally was 219 to 212, with not one Republican voting in favor of the bill. With the legislation being ratified by the lower chamber, the next step would be passage in the upper chamber, the Senate, where Democrats would need every single Democrat to vote in unanimity for the bill. Support from Republicans was not anticipated. Assuming all 50 Democratic votes were secured, the reconciliation procedure to pass the legislation along a simple majority would be utilized. Vice President Kamala Harris, as the president of the Senate, would be the tie-breaking vote, with President Joe Biden's signature on the law yet to come. That assumption of all 50 Democrats supporting the bill was not automatic. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin from the deeply Republican state of West Virginia presented a last-minute obstacle to the Democratic Senate caucus. Manchin opposed unemployment benefits as presented in the House-passed bill and was indicating he might support an alternative amendment by Republicans offering less generous benefits. After almost 12 hours of deal-making and brokering, an agreement was forged to reduce unemployment benefits, and an adjustment was made to place a cap on non-taxable benefits. Finally, on March 6, 2021, following an all-night vote-a-rama, President Biden's American Rescue Plan, the $1.9 trillion COVID relief and stimulus package, was passed 50 to 49 in the Senate along a strict party line vote. The adjusted bill would then be returned to the House for another vote on March 9th of this year before being sent to the desk of President Joe Biden for signature into law. Moving east across the Atlantic to the West African country of Senegal, violent protests were erupting in the capital city of Dakar following the arrest of an opposition leader, Ousmane Sonko. For his part, Sonko has maintained that the charges of rape and disrupting public order against him were politically motivated. He has said that Senegalese President Macky Sall was intent on dispensing with the potential political rivals he might face ahead of the elections set for 2024. Regardless, Sonko was attracting a youth base of young people as they took to the streets on his behalf, with a number of people dying during altercations with security forces across the country. Meanwhile, the government of Senegal was forced on returning the country to law and order. Interior Minister Antoine Félix Abdoulaye Diome warned that the authorities would use all means necessary for a return to order. The reality was that the street protest support for Sonko was something of a proxy protest, with the underlying problem being economic strife and a lack of job opportunities for young people in Senegal. Moving further east to Burma, also known as Myanmar, despite the military junta's cracking down on protesters, in the aftermath of the coup d'etat that toppled the elected leadership of that country, the resistance movement was continuing undeterred. In the streets, a new feature likened to a sarong movement was unfolding, with people hanging sarongs overhead. In Burma, Myanmar, it is considered bad luck to walk under a woman's sarong. As such, the hanging of sarongs overhead constituted a practical way of obstructing the movement of military troops, but it was also a symbolic reminder of popular resistance in support of the elected leadership. One alarming report emerged about an official for Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy, Khin Maung Lat, dying while in police custody. The official account was that Lat died after fainting, but according to a member of parliament, Bo Myo Ten, the bruising on Lat's body, particularly around his neck, suggested that he might have been tortured. In another disturbing account, a local official of the National League for Democracy in Mogwai was hacked to death by supporters of the military. Nevertheless, despite threats from the military and the risk of life and limb, the pro-democracy resistance movement was growing with a sense of defiance. On the global pandemic front, there was some controversy in Europe over the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine for the over 65 population in the treatment against COVID-19. But France, Belgium, and Germany finally relented and joined the United Kingdom in authorizing the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine for senior citizens. In Paraguay, President Mario Abdo Benitez has dismissed some members of his cabinet amid a coronavirus protest movement in his country. In Brazil, President Jair Bolsonaro told Brazilians to, and I quote, stop whining as coronavirus deaths increased in his country. Next week, I'll be covering the question as to why less developed and less wealthy countries have had less of a striking death toll from the coronavirus pandemic than countries in the West, such as the United States and the United Kingdom. For more information about these and other stories, read my political intelligence briefing and my coronavirus report, both of which are accessible from the front page of the CountryWatch website at www.countrywatch.com. Thank you for your time. Have a great day, and remember that we live in an interconnected world.